Well, hello everyone, welcome to this new video here on the Penguin Entertainment channel. You may know how I didn't do any SCR videos in January, so I thought I might as well do one now with this SCR Train Tier List. The idea and this template here were made by Fantastic. I think I should give them the credits. The list starts off with this Class 143 known as a Pacer, which isn't bad, but it isn't the best either. It's okay, but I don't really use it that much, and it's relatively short, which is a nice little detail about it. But it doesn't have much special about it, so I'll put it in the B tier. Next up is the Class 158, which is one of the first next-gen trains in SCR, and honestly, it's actually quite nice. And it's the only 2-car train on Connect, so bonus points for that. However, it is one of the first next-gen trains, so it's not the best, so I would say it goes in the B tier as well. And now the Class 165 and 166, well, they are rather average, to be honest. They are okay, but they're not too bad, but not that good either. So I would say they fit in the C tier. However, bonus credits will be given for the model in West Benton. And now for the first A-tier train of this list, the Class 168. And wow, this train is amazing for what it is. And I find myself driving it regularly on the Morganstown line, and I just really enjoy it. And also, there's one thing I find interesting. That when you stop at East Berley with a guard, and if you stop where you're supposed to at the SCR marker, the guard will have to step down as the rear of the train is just slightly off the edge of the platform. And apparently that's a bug. Despite that, it goes right into the A tier. The Class 170 is a bit of an interesting train with their choice of how to design the yellow on the front, but otherwise it is a nice train that is, I would say, above average, but not the best, but okay, so I'll just B tier. And then the Class 171 is understandably pretty much the same, except for a few minor differences, including being 2 coaches, and also it has a double variant, which is also nice. So it will also go into the B tier. And now, the first multi-operator train on this list, the Class 55, and I'm going to be really honest, it actually is a decent train on Airlink with its double variant, which has the unique feature of first class being in the middle of the train, whereas on every other train it's always at the front or the rear. So I would say this belongs in the A tier, and the Connect variant is, well, obviously the same, so I would say it also goes into A tier. And now I'll be reviewing 2 different trains at once. Class 195 and the Class 331. Both trains are very nice, very detailed. Like, honestly, great trains. And the Class 195 has a double variant on Connect, which I think is the only double variant on Connect. I'm not really sure, but bonus points for that. And the Class 331 is equally as good. All 3 go into the A tier. Oh, and don't worry about the Class 331/1, I'll get to that later. And next up, the Voyagers. I'm going to be honest, these trains did have a few issues at the start and I was a bit unsure about how good they are, but over time, I've gotten used to them and I basically drive these all the time whenever I drive Express. And the quality is very good. They go into the A tier. So, the Class 319, and now the Class 321, which is the Class 319, but actually somewhat good. It's actually just a slight bit better, but I mean, it's also equally not as good, so I'll just be putting it a tier above in the E tier. And now we are on to the Class 331/1. You might be wondering, hey, why are you ranking this differently? And that's because I'm ranking it higher for its special livery, and yes, I am giving bonus points for a livery, but I just think having a different livery is something unique, and I wish SCR kind of had more of that. So S tier for the Class 331/1. Okay, so I don't really know much about the Class 332 and 333, so take these rankings with a pinch of salt. I mean, they are nice, but I just never really see them. And, I mean, I can't really think of anything special, so, I don't know, B tier, I guess? And now, the Class 357. Well, it's okay. It isn't that good, but it isn't that bad either. And with it being the default train, it doesn't have anything special, so unfortunately I'm going to have to put this one in the C tier. And moving on to the other Electrostars, we get the Class 377, 379 and the 387, which I'm going to be honest, I think are the best trains in the game, with their amazing detail and the fact that there is one of these for each of the operators I drive on the most, which is also very nice. So good train, like multiple versions on different operators, so S tier for all three. And now the Class 380, which is a nice train, but just like the Class 332 and 333, I don't really know much about it. But it is a nice train, I can say that. So, I mean, if I were to guess, it would be A tier. And now the Class 350, which is surprisingly one of the last Desiro trains to be meshed, even though we've had the Class 444 for a while now. But it is very nice, and it's my go-to option for if I want to make use of its 110 mile per hour top speed on long distance routes, especially to Lynn by the Sea. So I think this train goes very nice into the A tier. And the Class 444 is just as good, and it also has the nice bonus of being able to do the same routes as the Class 68, which makes it even nicer. So I think that will go in the A tier as well. The Class 458 is a strange looking train, if I'm going to be honest, and the sounds in SCR are kind of just not that great. It's just like screeching, I guess. Welcome. But they are somewhat nice models, so B tier, I guess. The Class 465 is kinda infamous for being the reason train, and it is, well, I'm going to be honest, somewhat okay. Just like the Class 165 and 166, it is a bit basic feeling. So unfortunately, this train that some may think is great, I'll be putting it in the C tier. The Class 508 is another okay train, I guess, and even though it is also one of the first next-gen trains in SCR, it shows its age a lot worse than the Class 158, so unfortunately I'm going to have to put it in the D tier. The Class 68 used to be good, but now it's not that great. First they get rid of its iconic livery, and then they just ignore the fact they have the passenger coaches for it meshed, so you just leave it really in need of an upgrade. So if these factors weren't there, I would have ranked this maybe A or B tier, but unfortunately I'm going to have to put it in the C tier. The Class 707, or the Mini 700 as I like to call it, is another common train in SCR due to its low price, but unlike the Class 357, it's actually quite a nice sight to see. It's higher quality, and also it just looks nice and clean, unlike the Class 357 which looks a bit basic. Overall, quite a nice train, A tier. And the Class 717 is similar, although it does have its unique top speed of 85, I think, miles per hour. And also it has 6 coaches, which is the highest number of coaches on Connect. And it's equally as good, so it gets equally ranked as A tier. The Class 720 is yet another train that I don't really know much about, but it does have an interesting history in SCR, so I'll give it credit for that, I guess. And it also has special stop markers because of how long it is, but it doesn't really seem to have anything special other than that, so I would say it goes in the B tier, but at the very top. Next up, the Class 730, which is honestly nicer than the 720, and it also shares the same unique stop markers, and if you get the Connect variant, it also has a higher top speed of 110 miles per hour, and the Waterline variant is also definitely worth its price. Both, I'd say, are worthy of being in the A tier. Okay, so some of you may hate me for this one, and I'm going to be very, very honest. The Class 801 and 802 are overrated. Like, for mesh trains, they don't seem that good, and they've just never fixed the hole in the cab window at the front. And with newer mesh trains, like these ones are just seeming quite old in a way. So I guess they're B tier. The Class 360 has the most variants out of all the trains in SCR, with 2 on Airlink and 2 on Connect, with the last 2 being added in the 50 million visits update, with 1 special variant to celebrate that, which I think is quite nice, although it is a bit low effort. All they did was just change a colour, change a logo. Not as special as the Class 331/1's livery, but it's still nice. It is, overall, a very nice train, and all 4 will go into the A tier. The the Class 345 is a very nice train, but unfortunately, they had to give it a super high price for seemingly no reason. Like, is there a reason for this train that can only do 1 route has to be 4,500 points? But it's a nice train, so I mean, if it wasn't for the price, I'd give it S tier, but until they take it lower, I'll have to put it in the A tier, which isn't all that special. And that's it for this tier list. Hang on a minute, the HST was forgotten. So here's how I'll rank it. It's a nice train for what it costs, and it has mesh passenger coaches, unlike the Class 68, which I've already mentioned is like now kind of outdated. So say all the HST variants go in the A tier. Okay, so that's it for this tier list. If you disagree with anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you have opinions on this voice content, I guess, then feel free to do the same. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.